who has ever thought of buying a watch or has saved up to buy a watch they have their eyes on has always wondered, why are watches so expensive? This question has a complicated answer that involves market forces, history, and technological advancements in the watchmaking industry. In the start of the 20th century, watches were used as tools to tell time. Divers used watches that could survive intense pressures, race car drivers used it to time their laps, and workers used watches to know when their shifts end and to basically time their workdays. Watches were inexpensive at the time due to a high demand and low amounts the consumers were willing to pay, even for handmade watches. This all changed after the quartz crisis, when electrical quartz mechanisms were introduced and mass-produced for cheap prices. So brands using mechanical movements to prevent dying out were forced to either conform to the new quartz watches, forming the current highest-selling watch group, or enter the high-end luxury market. Luxury watch brands like Rolex have special reasons for their high price markups. They have an in-house foundry that produces the gold and platinum required for these watches. The steel used in Rolex watches is different from the steel used in most other watches, as theirs is of higher durability and ruggedness. These superior components and high cost of labor required to assemble them by hand, though machines are used in some of the more delicate processes, they contribute to the high production costs. According to estimates, a single watch may even require a year to produce. They have all kinds of laboratories that are constantly testing for better metals to be used, better movements, efficient manufacturing processes, durability, and to ensure and perfect the quality that is associated with the brand. R&D and production costs are then levied on the consumer, as they're not only buying the watch but also the effort exerted into making them. They're marketed to be items and symbols of luxury and aristocracy, using precious metals and gemstones that show off how wealthy the wearer is. Even men who are not interested in jewelry tend to wear these watches as the only indicator of their fine tastes and unbeatable refinement. Vintage watches have the above factors along with an emotional component. Watches that have survived generations are limited editions or were used by a specific historical figure or collector's items, and their prices are as decided by the owner. Collectors don't buy vintage watches for their utility, they're purely for the sentimentality and the history attached to these pieces. Brands can market the emotional component of their watches by portraying them as items that are part of a particular lifestyle. Established brands show off their reputation and their Swiss-made labels to drive up prices as competition increases in the lower strata of the market. There's a lot of advertising and marketing involved to ensure that these brands are able to justify their increasing prices. Let us take an example to see how market forces affect these prices. Imagine that Rolex introduced a limited edition Submariner that is sold for $10,000. After the limited supply ends, there's still a demand for the watches, be it for the status or desire. Now, someone who has bought the watch from the licensed vendor for $10,000 can resell it to prospective buyers for a little above the retail price, say $11,000. Now, the resale value is above retail price, but people are willing to buy it. Now, suppose that the new buyer further decides to resell at a higher price, they will be more comfortable asking for a higher price since it already has $11,000 resale value. Maybe they ask for $12,000 or even $13,000 and are able to sell it at that price. Now the watch has a new higher resale value, and this entirely depends on how much the consumers are willing to pay. Soon, a stable appreciation value sets in that is considered the stable resale value of the watch. This kind of dynamics also can work in depreciation of value, where there is high supply but not enough demand. Luxury watch brands use various keywords like accuracy, lifelong partnership, etc. to promote brand loyalty, no matter how exaggerated these claims might be. Mechanisms are outsourced to Asian or South American countries. Metals can be mined from third world countries to lower their obtaining costs, and the watches themselves can be mass-produced to lower production and labor costs. All of these reduce the overhead required to produce the watch for everyday consumers, but due to careful advertising, emotional histories, and branding, prices can be still set high. The up-and-coming fashion moguls, such as Gucci or Chanel, have also entered this space, and their products are priced quite highly, but as a result of favoritism for fast fashion, and as they enjoy a dominant position in their respective arena, they have no hurdles selling their accessories at prices affordable by more of the general public. It is also interesting to notice that these house brands offer watches that bear immense similarities to those of the big names. The increasing advent and utility of smartwatches have again increased the competition for conventional watchmakers and has forced them to either lower the quality of their production process or to increase the marketing to the upper echelons of society. These kinds of branding may result from intentional or accidental reasons. For example, steel Daytonas were being sold at higher prices in New York than the same line in gold. This is because the stainless steel version was used by Paul Newman during his racing career. This increases the value of specific models, which are reintroduced as limited edition by the companies. This includes the Submariner line, which was used in the James Bond movies, George Clooney showing off long jeans, or posters with Shah Rukh Khan sporting TAG Heuer. A lot of tactics and careful management ensure that the image of the brand is maintained as a luxury and lifestyle item rather than simply a utilitarian tool. They're no different than expensive sports cars, really high-priced smartphones, or gold fillings in your teeth. Handmade and crafted watches no longer are sold as tools to tell time. Your phones can do that. Luxury watches are simply that, a luxury, an item that we do not need but rather something that we want. They aren't a product but rather a symbol of a particular lifestyle. Thank you for listening to this video, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more such videos. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we release a new video. Leave comments down below on ideas for future videos.